What's happening, y'all? DKB here. So, day one of mini camps in the books. Let's talk about some of the vital updates and just some interesting things that came out of this. So, for starters, the big one, Zach Wilson. He's had a pretty solid opening to the start. We've actually run some. I believe the practices are still unpadded, but we run some actual 7-on-7s as well as some 11-on-11s, which we've actually been refraining from during the course of OTAs. So this is really things kind of ramping up just ever so slightly to kind of prepare for training camp. Zach Wilson did pretty well in both of the drills. The only hitch that we actually had for him was a 2-minute, I guess you can essentially call it red zone drill, or at least our 2-minute offense, where it was reported he was sacked on one play, and then there was two other plays that just ended up being dead. So I can take that. In all honesty, the only things I was really looking to key in on with Zach Wilson was that there was improvement. And everybody across the board is saying he's much more decisive where he's going. You see the processing getting a lot better in terms of him going through his progressions, and knowing how he wants to attack these defenses as his understanding has grown in year two. So I'm very excited for that. There was also a couple tight window throws that they mentioned, a nice little out route to Corey Davis. And so he's connecting with a lot of different receivers, which brings me to our second point. So in the wide receiver room, Jeff Smith actually has gotten a lot of runs, a lot of repetitions with the number ones today, coming away with 3 catches. Denzel Mims has actually been running with the second and third string squads. And I don't think that should necessarily be surprising news. Yes, we've had all the glowing reports about him being in much better shape, even elite shape, if you will, depending on who you've seen. And that his mental understanding of the game has become a lot better. I talked about before some of the things Saleh called out he wanted him to work on, which is continuing his understanding of the playbook and then being able to work on his contested catch point. Other than that, though, I don't think it's extremely notable. Jeff Smith is a core special teamer, as well as he's been able to produce in limited stretches, which is kind of what Denzel Mims' calling card was as well. So I'm not 100% shocked about it. I do think Denzel Mims should have maybe got a handful of reps in there, but I mean, he's running with the second squad as well. It's not like he was strictly relegated to the third. So we'll see if that continues. If that is the case, because DJ Montgomery has been coming on as of late as well, then that could be a sign. Also, keep in mind, we've had some players that were sitting out off and on. Corey Davis is still technically trying to be 100%. Elijah Moore was out for a period or two. And so what I don't want to happen, or what will be a strong indicator that he's going to be moved, is if we see the same kind of trends we saw last year, where even when players are down and, there's opportunities on the board because maybe the top 2 are sitting out for whatever reason, and he's still not getting time, I think that's going to say it all. So that's something to keep a lookout for, especially as we actually head into training camp. I doubt anything crazy will happen Wednesday. Talking about the offensive line. So Laken Tomlinson actually made some headlining news in regards to this being potentially one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And it's been such a long time since any of us have been able to, come even remotely close to hearing that statement be legitimately true. And, it's something JD pointed out himself. Hopefully one of the best guard duos in the NFL. And if Becton and George Fant, regardless of where they're positioned at, can excel again, then we're talking really just being worried about Connor McGovern. And with the switch over to the new scheme, and of course better players around him, it really does seem like we finally pieced all of the starting units together. And at least for as long as we're willing to keep Connor McGovern, shouldn't really have too much of an issue. We've brought in the athletic pieces. We're much younger in that aspect as well. There's still some work that could be done. Connor McGovern, again, contract extension issues are going to be coming up. We know George Fant currently is trying to work on getting a contract extension, and so there's still pieces that we need to have there, but we have some players in the wing, which is great. So that was some of the headlining stuff Laken Tomlinson mentioned. In regards to Mekhi Becton, as expected, he showed up, so that's awesome. And also, as expected, which we recently talked about, he did not practice. So he didn't even go through any drills or anything with the rest of the team. For the players that were injured, everybody was off to a separate side of the field working with the trainer. So he essentially did his medical stuff that needed to get done, and then he stretched and did whatever the medical trainers required of him for the day. So nothing huge there. Nobody wanted to put out any fillers in terms of kind of what he was weighing or anything like that, which personally, you guys have heard me before. I really don't care. As long as he's not, 500 pounds or something crazy, it doesn't really matter to me. Can he come back in shape? Can he play? That's going to be the biggest thing. It's been really weird that an entire industry of people has wanted to keep whatever his weight number is under wraps. But it is what it is. All that really matters, he showed up. Hopefully we get some great news on the horizon about what those medical checks look like. They did say that there was no kind of brace, no indication that there's any issues with the legs from what some of the beat writers and people in attendance were able to see. So that works perfectly for me. We'll see what happens in the coming days. And then defensively, there is an odd issue that I'm hoping doesn't become a problem. DJ Reed hasn't been practicing for a few practices now. I believe this may be only the second or third one. But we don't know what's going on. So could be a personal matter. Could be some kind of minor injury they're being cautious with. But it has allowed the opportunity for somebody that we're hoping to be groomed as one of the main cornerbacks this season in Sauce Gardner, who, interestingly enough, he did confirm today he's going to be wearing number 1. And he actually paid DJ Reed $50,000 in order to secure that number. So we're going to be seeing Sauce Gardner in number 1. Go ahead and put you guys' orders in now. And he's been getting a lot of opportunities with the 1. We've seen a couple of call outs about him getting burned, deep. DJ Montgomery, today, I believe it was Corey Davis that got him on that out route that I mentioned before. I think it was a comeback route, actually. But regardless, Ulbrich had plenty of great things to say about him in regards to he has not been committing the same mistakes twice so far through the practices and experiences that he's been able to have with Sauce. So I think that bodes well. All of the things that Salah mentioned before about the attributes he's bringing to the table and being able to play in every situation and position that his defense requires is still going to ring true. So now the only question mark is how much does he play, right? And this is going to factor into this whole kind of unrealistic Bryce Hall versus Sauce Gardner battle. We'll see how much they want to rotate their cornerbacks out. But I think the expectation from all of us is he's going to be one of the primary, boundary cornerbacks for us. Outside of that, those were pretty much the major updates today. Again, first practice actually running 11 on 11, 7 on 7s. We'll see if there's any other, useful information that comes out. I'll have you guys covered for that. But those would be the main things. So we'll see what these press conferences that come out today end up divulging, if there's anything further. Oh, there is a minor one, actually. Quinnen Williams, at least from a leadership aspect, Ulbrich called out without actually having a question regarding that, and that his expectations are going to be extremely high this season. So it might not be unrealistic to say that maybe we're looking at a double-digit sack season from Quinnen. But he stepped up a lot more in terms of leadership, taking on as essentially the veteran, if you want to talk about guys that have remained with the Jets from, start to finish, quote unquote, with the team. But that's all I got for you guys. I'll catch up with you again, and peace out.